So that leaves 5 board members and 2 absent. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda as distributed?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed by nay? Okay. And if no one objects, I'd like to combine the minutes of the regular session of October 24th, 2024, the minutes of the executive session of October 24, 2024, and the minutes of approval of claims of November 7th, 2024. May I have a motion to accept?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. David, you're up.
All right, thank you, Ben. In your packet are the reports from the treasurer, and just a couple of lines to note that are spending above their benchmark. Legal notices, it's not a large dollar line, but as you can imagine, with the notices going out this year for the system-wide, construction projects and things like that, that will need some money brought into it, transferred in at the end of the year, which actually will be happening in December. I'll be bringing those transfers. And then insurance, we added some additional policy like cyber insurance and some additional levels for insurance. So that one also will need some money brought in. The rest of them, though, are staying, behaving themselves, let's put it that way. As far as news and notes, I mean, I don't need to tell you the biggest news we've had is the successful passage from County Council of the approval to move forward with the bonding. And so we joke that we say, great, we got the bonds. Oh no, we got the bonds. 'Cause now the work really begins and stuff. So, but it's a nice feeling to have that. All the budget for 2025 were completed and it's been submitted. I did get word that the budget is being reviewed right now by DLGF, so we may hear any day at this point for approval on that. And then the only other one was, we just finished an F&P meeting regarding the compensation and benefits. As you remember, we had the benefits discussed and passed in the October board meeting. The November one will be the compensation side, and then Larray will be bringing the staffing table to the December meeting. There's just one of those year-end items that we have to take care of. That along with things like the treasurer's bond. I just realized we're going to need 2 of them now because I'll need one for Jill and one for myself. And then budget transfers, like I said, that's one of the main ones, making sure all the lines are well funded and we have everything we need to get through the end of the year with encumbrances. But other than that, I'd be glad to answer any questions that we have right now.
Questions, folks? If not, I'll entertain a motion that the financial report be accepted as presented.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed by nay. We have the claims.
Yeah, we do. Today's claims are not that large, $935,000 on today's claims. The largest one is the main library chiller roofing project with its train. We are starting the chiller work right now. That's the last piece of the puzzle. That was a $260,000 claim, and then we're doing the annual computer cycle. As you know, we have a 5-year life on our PCs, and they're replaced on every year we replace 20% of them. So that was a bill for $170,000 for all of those. So those are the main claims today, but I can bring those around after we pass it.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Well, we passed that one too. Larray, presentation of the compensation proposal, and David?
Yeah, actually, may I interrupt, Ben? Because did we actually have a motion in a second?
We did need to have a motion on the claims.
We don't need to? Or
We do.
did we have one
Yeah.
yet? Or
No, we
I think we kind of said we voted, but I'm not sure we
Yeah,
actually had a
you
motion.
voted.
Mere technicality.
Yeah, just so the minutes say it right. I will move to
Streamlining
approve the claims.
Robert's Rules of Order.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All
Yes.
those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Not a problem.
Wondering if I missed it.
Lorraine, you're up.
All right. In your packets is our proposal for salary increases effective January 1st of 2025. So this includes current staff increases as well as new positions we intend to add for next year. So just a reminder that this month is salaries for current staff. Next month is actually the approval of the staffing table with those new positions and any job descriptions that come with it. But the financial impact still impacts this meeting, so I wanted to talk about it. So we are proposing a staff COLA increase of 3% for all staff hired prior to September 1st of 2024. All employees paid will at least be at the minimum of their pay grade, and the cost for that COLA increase is about $396,000. The pay structure, so the pay grades, if you recall, last year we approved a policy to increase those 2% or the average COLA under Social Security over the last 5 years, whichever one is greater. The average Social Security increase over the last 5 years was 4.14%. So we are requesting to adjust our pay grades 4% in 2025, which I think for the first time would have no employees above that maximum pay grade. So there wouldn't be that bonus payment structure for those that are above the maximum. The other pieces of the compensation package are adjustments to specific jobs. So we do the salary study for libraries across the country, along with comparable libraries, and statistics for Fort Wayne. So there are a few market rate adjustments for positions that are well below market rate. So the Director of Community Partnerships and Programs, our events team, the network technicians and IT support specialist, our maintenance techs, and our couriers. So they would get a bump a little bit closer to being closer to market rate. So the changes for those positions comes into approximately $69,000. And then the adjustments for roles or new positions for next year, again, is going to actually come in December, but we have those listed here too. So we'll have a bit of a restructure in genealogy to have a current senior genealogy librarian position, so an internal promotion opportunity for somebody to be an assistant manager, and we would not backfill that senior librarian position. Our digital communication specialist, moving to a supervisor and replacing his vacancy to support our communications team, especially now that phase 1 of our FMP has gotten approved. With the renovation of our studio, or previously known as Makerspace, at Maine, we have 2 part-time studio guides on our staffing table for next year. Part-time volunteer coordinator for the HR department, an associate software engineer for our IT services department. Right now, we have 1 software engineer, and a lot of our resources and databases are custom built, so he's got a very, very full plate. And then adding an additional youth services coordinator focused on early literacy skills. So those positions come into about $250,000 of the total proposal. So the entire proposal is $715,000, which I think, Dave, you had $971 budgeted because we had some cushion there in case the exempt status went through, which it did not. So the entire proposal comes in at $715,000. Any
Questions? The F&P committee met ahead of time, so therefore our questions were answered then, but Paul?
No questions.
Okay. Thank you, Lorraine. We have a resolution then to approve the 2025 employee pay structure. Will someone make a motion to place that on the table?
So moved.
And a second? Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed by nay. Thank you.
Do we also need a motion for the compensation proposal?
Or is that the table in December?
Are you talking about the new positions?
Well, the number 6. I don't know if we need
Yeah.
a proposal on that because it's the table that will be brought in.
Yeah, that's
in
coming next
December.
month.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that'll come up in December.
Right.
correct.
Okay. Well, let's move to a hot topic, our security system proposal. Is anyone here to discuss our security system proposal?
I will kick it off, and then I will turn it over to Kim Boland to talk in more detail. So you have a proposal in your packet. Over the past 6 months, our safety and security manager, Shannon, worked with a team of our leadership to review options for our safety and security annual contract. And the existing contract with our current vendor does expire at the end of this calendar year. As part of the review, the team included costs for updating our fire alarm panel system at all 14 locations. A formal RFP was issued on August 23rd of this year. We received proposals from 3 interested vendors. They were reviewed and scored by our team members, and the vendors were interviewed. And you see the proposal ratings and cost analysis included below. We are recommending that we begin service with Corson, and we have included in your packet Corson's full proposal, which includes an overview of their company and their qualifications and experience and some pricing. And Kim was an instrumental part of the review team, and I asked her to talk a bit about why the team is asking for approval to move forward with working with Corson.
Before we begin, Kim, can you give us one sentence as to why ASG did not comply?
Yes, and actually there is a fourth as well, so I can talk to both of those. ASG, when we released the formal RFQ, or RFP, excuse me, they did not comply with the things that we asked for, so they were disqualified.
I see.
And then the fourth one actually said our project was too complex and declined to put in a proposal.
I see. Okay, thank you.
So in addition to the cost savings, I think the biggest thing, the team felt that Corson put in the most comprehensive plan. It was easy to understand. It was clear we need to get up to current standards. To be aware, our fire alarm panels are at their end of life and they need to be updated. So you'll see in the cost proposal, there's those two, the second column that I put fire alarm upgrade in there. You can see the cost for that. That's the same for either a 1-year or a 3-year contract because that needs to be done. And as you can see, the price was, the cost is quite different, but also their plan was more clear. Part of the cost savings is because we're moving to a non-proprietary hardware and software, which currently we have been with. The current company is a proprietary solution, and it has driven up our costs quite a bit. So not only will the new system, which will integrate with our existing cameras, which is good, but we'll have more flexibility moving into the future. And also, when we go to get quotes on new hardware products, we will also be seeing savings in what we've been paying in the past because, again, more competitive market because it's non-proprietary. So those are very good things. I wanted to also mention to you that another plus with Corson is we don't, they do all their work internally. So our current vendor has to subcontract out 3 or 4, I made a note someplace, for 3 or 4 different things. And I believe they do contract out one thing to Corson. So Corson does everything in-house, which we are very excited about. And lastly, I just want to mention, I had a nice talk with Shannon last week about kind of going through everything. And I think her comfort level and the rest of the team that reviewed everything, I think they feel really good about Corson. Shannon was also sharing some things that they have been super responsive to her. They've even helped her with an issue we've been trying to get an answer with for our current vendor. And they came out and did a free meeting with her and a few other of my staff and already gave solutions free of charge of how we can fix it. So I think just her comfort level, as well as the rest of the team, their comfort level, that'd be Jake and Kevin in IT. I feel that they're a very, very strong choice.
Questions, folks?
Now, a couple of questions, Kim. Can you tell me, because what is their experience with libraries in Indiana or just generally? I know this is a big organization, it's nationwide, right?
Yeah, they're all over the place, yeah.
Okay.
And I was looking through, I mean, I don't think the team, I wasn't on the interview teams, and Lorraine was on all four, so I don't know if they even talked about specific libraries. But quite frankly, working with libraries, I mean, they might have talked about it, but I don't know specifics. But I will mention one thing that is a plus about their team is we've learned 4 to 5 people that were the former company that worked at our library that know our buildings are now working at Corson. So just for us, they know our system already. So to
Okay.
me, that whether they worked with another library or not, I feel good about that.
Okay. And obviously, this is the fire protection and all that, but it's
Yeah,
the
security
security part
cameras.
too. Because I know we had a presentation about potential security needs and upgrades. Is this it, or is there other things that
Yeah,
security is
and
going to
was
want?
that the presentation Shannon did when I was on
Yeah,
vacation?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
so this gives us options, like
Okay.
things we don't have access to now that we can add that will help us better handle and manage security, I think, moving forward, all the aspects of the security system.
Okay.
That's security, mechanical security, not personnel.
Cameras, fire and safety, anything related to the broad umbrella of security. And there's a list, a pretty comprehensive list in that proposal, the Corson proposal, so you can see exactly what it includes.
Kim, that includes the access, door access and everything
Yep,
like
the
that also.
access of
That's
the
a key
doors,
one.
yep.
Yeah.
Card reader, badge
Yeah.
access.
I have a question, Kim, particularly for this kind of contract. I really like the fact we looked at a 3-year option. Is there any reason in your mind why we wouldn't or shouldn't pursue a 3-year contract for this?
I mean, the only thing, if I think if we had a worry that we would have a concern after a year, then there might be pause. But with this company being in business so long and being so highly rated and the comfort level, I feel like the savings would probably be worth it.
Additional,
I
Jeff?
just have a comment that I remember the presentation last month, and it's stuck in my mind that the current vendor that we have was reluctant to respond to a critical need that the library put out, and that's unacceptable. So
I did have a question. If my math is right, the 3-year contract cost is 3 times the 1-year contract. There's no economy of scale.
Well, you can see for the annual cost is less. So of course, if we did a 1 year, it would be $97,850, right? And then if we do a 3 year, it goes down to $92,663 a year. The fire grade system upgrade is going to be the same no matter what because it's a project cost, and we have to do that right at the beginning. So, do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So what is that? A little over $5,000 savings per year for 15 over 3 years, 15,000? Did I
That's
do
a
math?
lot.
Pretty
Are they
fast, not great.
negotiable?
What's that?
Are they negotiable?
Well, I don't know. We'd have to ask Shannon about that.
Honestly, my 2 cents, I was impressed to not see an escalation
Yes.
in year 2 and 3. That's what I normally see.
They
And
put all their stuff in, and then they come back in a year and see if it's still there.
everything's always negotiable. We can always do that. But, yeah, I'm more accustomed to seeing a 3-year proposal that has, escalation clauses in it.
Okay. Any other questions? Can I have a motion then to accept the security system proposal
So moved.
regarding Kirsten Fire and Security? We have a motion and a second.
Excuse me, Ben. Could the motion include authorizing Susan to sign the contract?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Authorizing Susan to sign it. Okay, and a second?
I have another friendly amendment, perhaps. Can we include the 3-year, looking at it in the multi-year contract?
Yeah. That was the intent of the, all right, any discussion? I need a motion.
With Jim motion, we need a second, I think.
Second.
Oh, that's right, a second. Second, folks?
Second.
Pat,
Pat, okay. My hearing aid's not working.
Turn those ears,
What you
turn
say?
those ears up.
Any further discussion or one-line jokes? Okay. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. We have fire and security. God bless America.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Thank you very much, Kim. Thank you, Shannon.
Okay, now to the bylaws amendment, first reading.
Yes. So it is first reading because according to the bylaws themselves, you would not be able to take a vote on the bylaws today. We do need to have a first reading before any vote is taken at a subsequent meeting. In order to stay in compliance with Indiana's state library standards, bylaws must be reviewed by boards every 3 years. The last time you have reviewed them was in 2021, so we are due. I worked with Pete to review the existing bylaws, and I also compared what we have currently to a template from the Indiana State Library. We have some minor changes that we are recommending for your review. Some are more formatting and stylistic changes, and I'll let Pete talk about that in a minute, and some are regarding content. And I will go through those with you. And again, these are just suggestions. Tonight, we are not asking for a vote. We're asking for you to review and make any suggestions you would like. But as far as content, if you look at your packet, the draft in Article 2, Authority and Purpose regarding the library, the existing text is that the library shall be a serviced institution. It shall seek to inform, educate, entertain, and culturally enrich the entire community by providing books and other library materials, facilities, and professional library services. We are recommending that programs be added in that list as well. If you go to page 5, under Article 9, Committees, standing committees will be filled by appointment by the president of the library board with the approval of the library board at the first meeting of each calendar year and will serve for 1 year. Standing committees may include, but are not limited to, Finance and Personnel Committee. I recommended that we add Capital Projects Committee. Ben and I did have a discussion, and he questioned, and I think it's a good question, whether Capital Projects is a standing committee. To be quite honest, since I started here, we've had a lot of capital projects committees meetings, so in my head it was a standing committee, but that is of course up for discussion and for your input. We haven't had it there all along, and we could probably keep it out, but something to consider. And then finally, on page 6, under Article 10, Meetings, this is language that I took from the recommended template from the state library. We did not have a section regarding the annual Board of Finance meeting that we are legally obligated to have. So I took this language straight from the state library template, adding section 2, Board of Finance, the full board and its officers constitute the Board of Finance, and they shall meet annually in January, after the first Monday or on or before the last day of January, which you do, to review finances and depositories per Indiana code, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the content suggestions, and I'll ask Pete to talk a bit about some of the stylistic and formatting changes that he's recommending.
Thanks, Susan. Yeah, we're not going to read through all of these, but all the rest of the redlining is, for the most part, defining certain terms, then capitalizing those terms throughout the text of the sections where appropriate. Couple places, we deleted a word because we had defined a term, and the word that we deleted wasn't necessary anymore. And that was really it. I mean, that was the case in Article 1, Article 3, Article 7, Article 8, and in Article 10, beginning with Section 6. So as we reviewed this, a lot of that was just cleanup, but wanted to get those sections in conformity with defined terms.
So happy to entertain any questions, thoughts, suggestions for when we bring this back in December for a vote.
Well, that was a good first reading. Okay, it does not require any action at this point.
It doesn't. I am curious about the board's feel regarding the Capital Projects Committee inclusion as a standing committee, if we should add that or leave it off as it has been all along.
We might want to consider also a nominating committee. That is a standing committee.
True?
I'm not swayed either way, whatever is most convenient. As a practical matter, we'll probably go forward with the Capital Projects Committee for another 10, 12 years.
Probably.
So it'll stand until the fall.
Yeah, because nothing in here, this basically says that's the minimum. We
Right.
can always create another standing committee without even changing the bylaws. We just
Right.
vote on it and do it.
Right.
So that's probably, the nominating committee is a standing committee, because my guess is somewhere along the ways we voted to say it is.
Yeah.
But I would agree, I think we should put both of them in there. They're going to be committees
Okay.
forever, as far as I can tell.
I'd agree.
Okay, good. Fine, we'll make that change, or keep that in, not change it. And we'll wait for the second reading.
Okay.
All right, so that brings us to the Executive Director's Report.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce and thank our Aboite Branch Manager, Chris Lill, for being here with us this afternoon. Thank you for letting us join you. Chris was in the audience last Wednesday night at the County Council meeting when we found out that we'd be getting a new Aboite branch, so I'm really glad that she got to see that happen in real time, and some Aboite patrons came out and said some wonderful things about what the library means to them and how they believe strongly that there was a need for a new building. And I was also thinking, if I was walking in, this could be an historical occasion, because considering our cycle for having board meetings at branches, this may be the last board meeting ever at this Aboite Library. I know. Take a moment to let that sink in.
That brings a tear to one's eye.
But thank you, Chris, to you and your team for hosting us and for all the great work that you do, and congratulations. Thank you. So I wrote this report a week ago, and a lot can happen in a week. I said in our initial soft launch period, we have had more than 1,700 children register for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. As of today, literally today, we are over 2,000. Wow. And that is without us really doing any advertising. We wanted to do a soft launch initially in order to not crash the system. And word travels fast, so we're just thrilled at the response. We'll be doing a formal publicity campaign starting next month. We have over $100,000 raised through the foundation to support this program, which should last us at least 2 years. And it's just been so gratifying to see the excitement around this program and the response that it's getting. I checked the book, like we call it the book ordering system. every 2 hours, and more kids keep signing up. It's just, it's so fun to watch.
And this is not a finite program, it's infinite, it continues on and on?
We definitely want it to be, yes. The idea is that this is sustainable, so it will be ongoing fundraising surrounding it.
Okay.
Yes. More than 200 people attended, either in person or online, our 2024 Friends of the Lincoln Collection McMurtry Lecture that was held on Veterans Day, featuring Civil War historian Dr. Brian Matthew Jordan. It was excellent. And at the lecture, we made a big announcement. Do we have any NPR fans in here?
Yeah.
Because if we do, you'll probably recognize the speaker's name. Next October for the McMurtry Lecture, we will be hosting National Public Radio journalist Steve Inskeep. He is the author of Differ We Must, How Lincoln Succeeded in a Divided America. He is a Carmel, Indiana native, and he will be coming to speak on October 9th of next year. I imagine that will be a hot ticket, so mark your calendar. And his appearance is being brought to the community by what I believe is the first of its kind collaboration through the Friends of the Lincoln Collection, the Friends of the Allen County Public Library, and the Allen County Public Library Foundation. They pooled their resources and their dollars to make this happen. It's going to be the keynote event of what will be a Community Reads event. So we're planning on having a series of programming in the weeks up to the main event with Steve to get the community excited about the book and all reading the book and discussing it. So we're very, very excited. Several of us, including Kim and Aja, we just got back from the Indiana Library Federation Annual Conference in Indy. Kim, Aja, and I were all speakers at the conference. And at the conference, we received the Sarah Laughlin Marketing Award, which honors and recognizes a library for its successful, creative, and contemporary marketing efforts. We received this award based on our public information campaign surrounding our migration to our new integrated library system, Polaris. So congratulations to all the departments involved in that successful rollout. And that prize came with $1,000 in cash, which in our industry, usually awards come with a certificate and maybe a slap on the back. Cash prizes aren't that common, so that was pretty exciting to get that check as well. So congratulations, team. And speaking of our new, I guess we'll still call it new, it's a year, ILS Polaris, Halloween, October 31st, marked our 1-year anniversary with Polaris, our integrated library system. And Kim Bolin and our system services manager, Nate Bernard, shared the following words with staff to mark this milestone. And I included it in your director's report, but a few milestones in that first year with Polaris. We have issued over 20,000 new library cards. We have added more than 140,000 items to the collection. We filled about 417,000 holds. We have enhanced customer service. We have streamlined technical services. Our technical services manager has told me numerous times that the catalog, as far as its accuracy and the cleanness of its records, it's the best that she's ever seen it, and she's been here 11 years. We have increased system stability with substantially less downtime and just an overall more user-centric approach to system-wide ILS management. So congratulations to Kim and her team who implemented this really significant and transformative change to our system in a very abbreviated period of time. It was a lot of work, and it has paid off dividends and will continue to do so. And in one, I always have one late-breaking news. We found out just this morning that Kurt will be on PBS's Primetime again, because he was on Primetime, I think that was back in September. He'll be on tomorrow night on PBS at 7:30 with Irv Adler of the Northeast Indiana Jewish Genealogy Society, and they will be speaking about the 2025 International Jewish Genealogy Conference that is coming to Fort Wayne in August. So tune in tomorrow night to PBS, 7:30, to see Kurt. And that's all I have.
Good report.
Thank you.
Questions?
No question, just a comment, two comments. First, I just love seeing the numbers, because I think Polaris has helped us to make sure, because to the extent we have questions about, how accurate our numbers are and for various things at the library, I think the more we can point to, hey, we have the numbers, we are keeping real statistics and real numbers for people. I think that's very, very helpful. to show to anybody that needs to look at them. So I think I'm very happy to see that. And second, I love the quarterly manager's report. I got it in the mail. If anybody hasn't gotten it yet, make sure you get a copy and read it. It's really, really good, so.
Very well done.
I have a few questions.
Yeah.
On the Imagination Library, Susan, do we have a capacity or a target that we're shooting for? You said we're at 2,000.
Very good question. So according to census records, there are approximately 26,000 eligible children in Allen County to sign up. And my goal for the first 2 years is to get at least half of those children signed up. I hope to exceed it. We're on track to exceed it, actually.
So my second question is, what are the options of how people sign up for that?
They sign up online, and the parents or grandparents or guardians can sign their children online. Once we do the formal publicity campaign, what we're hoping to do is to do some outreach events with some community partners where some people may not have easy access to the internet.
Right.
So we can go out with laptops and help people sign up. And a long-term goal, we haven't gotten there yet, but we're thinking about it. In some communities, Imagination Library partners work very closely with local healthcare systems to make sure that babies that are born, their families find out about it right away, so those babies are signed up
Good.
very, very early.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
One last question. So I see from the Polaris data that we circulated over 3 million items last year.
In the
Is that a
first year.
record? Is that a record?
I don't think it's a record, but it's very impressive.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions of Susan? Let's move to item 11. Anyone have any items of new business? I have one. I'd like to appoint the nominating committee to deliver a report in January, and I'd like Paul, Jim, and Gloria to serve on that. If Gloria's not here, so she agrees. And Jim and Paul. Thank you. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to comment?
Tanya's going to check our sign-in sheet out there. No? Okay.
How about anybody over the airwaves? Nobody. Okay. Well, that's appropriate then to request a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Now we have an executive session right following this. Thank you.
Thank you.